Welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to have you here today. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this is a fabulous show that we have. You are watching or listening to Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure. I just love this show because I get to see my beautiful friend, Diann Floyd Boehm. Let's bring her out. She's been quite busy. Tell us what you've been doing, Diann. You're all over the place, traveling, signing books. It's just amazing.
Well, thank you. And always it's wonderful. I love Fridays. Yes, I just returned from a town called La Porte, Texas, which is a little jewel in Texas most people don't know about because there's this wonderful beach called Sylvan Beach. And so in between breaks, I would run out and just listen to the water because it's so lovely. Everyone thinks Galveston, but Sylvan Beach is a little jewel. So I'm happy to share that with you.
Well, thank you so much. And while I have you on Spotlight, tell us about your new book.
Yes, thank you so much. You can see it behind me, but here, I'll hold it. I'm very proud of this book. This is my grandmother, and she was an amazing woman. So I decided to take a snippet of her life and write a historical fiction based on how she ended up being a woman born in 1904 and ended up being able to go to college. And it was a lot of hard work. And I'm hoping it really inspires people to go for their dreams. Because can you imagine a woman in 1904? We couldn't even vote back then. And she made it all the way to college. And it was quite a journey. So I hope everyone enjoys it.
I know that I've already pre-ordered my copy. How can people get theirs, Diann?
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Jacalyn. Yes, please. You may purchase it on Amazon. It's quite easy. It's Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. Or you can just Google my name, Diann Floyd Boehm, at Amazon, and it'll come up as well. And Dr. Jacalyn, as you probably know, it made the hot list for Amazon.
Yes, it did. #1 new release, right?
Yes, I'm so excited. And I even did my very first Amazon Live with D. Scott Smith, and that was pretty exciting. I was just like, wow.
Wow. How did it go, Diann? Tell our audience about the interview and where they can find it.
Oh, yes. So D. Scott Smith does author interviews for Amazon, and you can find the interview on YouTube. So it's right there for you, D. Scott Smith, or you can Google me, and I have it there on my YouTube channel as well.
Thanks, Diann. Very exciting times. Yay.
Yes.
And, you know, Diann, we've discussed on other shows, you have done extensive traveling around the world, and you have an amazing collection of friends that are just, every show, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this person is incredible. And I know you've brought another wonderful guest today who's going to share something about a place that I love and I hope to go back to. So before we bring Jane out, why don't you give us a little bit of background about how you two met and connected?
Sure. So Jane NORTHCOTE will be joining us, and we met in Dubai. She is just an incredibly beautiful spirit, a wonderful human being, and she was in charge of running all of the programs for interviewing and so forth at the World Trade Center. And so there was a women's program that I attended, and then just came and then ended up being a guest as well. And she could share more about that with you. But just she interviewed so many people, brought so many speakers in, like you, Dr. Jacalyn. She's a real connector, and we would always be learning from the.
All right, Diann is frozen at the moment. I'm going to put her backstage, and let's bring out Jane. Jane, welcome to the show.
Dr. Jacalyn, thank you so much for inviting me on the show this afternoon, and Diann too, wherever she's gone.
She's back. Here she is. She was frozen for a little while.
Diann, I just said it's live and you keep talking.
I didn't want to leave you up there frozen, so. Yes, it was not going to be a good look. But so we brought Jane onto the program. Yeah. And Jane, it's quite an extensive, amazing background that you have. And I'm really happy that you're here to share it with us today.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm very honored and excited to be talking to you about my quite new life here in Italy. And I'm just seeing the last rays of the day going behind the mountains now. Italy is a place that I moved to after living in Dubai for nearly 14 years. I've been an expat in Dubai and also in Singapore. And so I moved to a very rural part of Italy in February 2019. And I have to say that after all of those years living in very hot tropical places, I'm so enjoying experiencing the change of seasons that Italy offers me. And not only, change of landscape and change of weather, but also the change of seasons when it comes to food. Because Italy, I have found in this rural part, Le Marche is where I live, very mountainous region and very agricultural as well. And, when strawberries come into season, they're everywhere. They're in the markets, they're in the supermarkets. But once that season is over, that is the end of it. And I absolutely love the way the Italians embrace and use all of the seasonal produce. I was in the supermarket the other day and I saw a celeriac and I thought, right, I better grab it whilst it's there. Otherwise, in a couple of weeks, that won't be available. So it is a very traditional place. And in fact, when I first came, as I say, I used to live in Dubai, which is pretty much being able to shop for food almost 24/7, as Diann well knows. And it was quite interesting here that I discovered that you had to get to the supermarket before 1 o'clock, because if you turned up after that, you would find the doors were closed and everybody had gone home for lunch and wouldn't be back until 4:30. And
Wow.
then it would be open again till 7. And also driving through lots of the little villages, particularly at lunchtime, it's just a ghost town because there's still, whatever it is you're doing, however you're working, I don't know if it's the same in cities, but everybody stops for lunch. And I absolutely love that.
Oh my gosh, I love that too. So is that called an Italian siesta? No.
Well, then you see, because I say that everything closes about 1 o'clock and they don't reopen again until about 4:30, and then they remain open till about 7. Particularly in the summertime, yes, they're taking siesta, and I can well understand why, because the heat can be pretty unbearable and really no air conditioning. Also, what's interesting as well is that particularly on a Monday in most towns, everything is closed apart from the supermarkets. And even the pizza restaurant closes for one day of the week. So
What? Pizza closed? Oh my
it's
God.
it's like going back in time for me.
That's
Um,
wonderful.
it's a more of a slow pace of life, which actually is very enjoyable when you think about living and working in the cities where burnout is happening all the time and people are just stopping for a snack at their desk, whereas these people are going home to mama or their husbands or their wives and cooking real food.
I am just laughing because in between shows I went and had a granola bar. It's just
Well,
like,
then you know just what I'm talking about.
yes.
And I'm in a region called La Marche. I don't know if you've heard of it, have you?
I have not. Have you, Diane?
Only because of Jane, otherwise, but it is extremely gorgeous from the
Yeah.
pictures she shares.
Yeah, it's an area that I had never heard of either. I mean, we've all heard of Tuscany, we've all heard of Umbria, and the Marche is pretty much central east of the country. You've got Tuscany to the west, and you've got Umbria to southwest. I'm about a 2-hour drive east, sort of northeast of Rome, and the coast. La Marche is on the Adriatic coast as well. So I've
Wow.
got the beauty of sea about 40-minute drive away. I live in a mountainous region, which is very beautiful, called the Sibillini National Park. And there are just gorgeous villages, hilltown villages all around to, drive off to and mooch around and explore. And it's just brings you such joy to be in Italy, somewhere that I'd never been up until 3 years ago.
That's marvelous.
It is wonderful. We do have some pictures. Jane, can you walk us through what we're looking at?
Yes, well, that is my view from my terrace.
Wow.
And from my bedroom, and that's what I'm glancing out at now.
Wow.
And that is just, obviously there's been a lot of lockdown here in Italy, like everywhere, in the last 18 months, and just waking up to that view, whatever the weather, whatever the mood in the world, is very uplifting.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
And this is the season now in my area is for harvesting the grapes. And I took this picture of that lovely bunch of grapes at a beautiful restaurant in the countryside, where again the views are like something out of The Sound of Music. And she's an organic grower. And so this, it's time for making the wine now, girls.
Yes, it is.
And this is the restaurant where I went for my birthday lunch a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it was my first time out at a restaurant for 18 months. And this was a restaurant that I used to go to monthly. And it was just a delight to see the chef, Mirella, and to embrace her and to see all the staff and to enjoy her gorgeous homemade food.
Speaking of that, I am too.
And there it is. I mean, on a Sunday, this was a Sunday lunch. I mean, you get there at 12:30 and you don't leave until about 3:30 or 4 o'clock. It is such a leisurely lunch. And, all of the food is seasonal and homemade. It's just divine.
Wow. I love that. And we've got one more, Jean.
Now this is one of my favorite restaurants on the coast. As I say, it's about a 40-minute drive, a beautiful drive through a lot of wine country. And this restaurant is called Coba, C-O-B-A, seafood restaurant in a beautiful seaside town called Porto San Giorgio. And again, this is a place that I used to go to every month and always when guests came. And this is sitting outside and looking at the view, and the food is just, well, obviously you're on the coast, so the fish, the mussels, the lobster is just fresh, girls. So I love going there.
It looks great.
Diann, that's on the list that we're going to too.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking there's, we have to go on the road. Well, let's get some sponsors to sponsor on the road.
Sponsors, anybody wants to sponsor Diann and Jacalyn's road trip, please do. We'll go and see Jane, and we'll do a show right from there.
Yeah, I think definitely, hello everybody, wherever you are in the world. It's just after 6 o'clock here in Italy. And I think a lot of us are dreaming of holidays. Maybe you're planning to take a trip before the end of the year or looking ahead to next year. Do explore the idea of coming to Italy. And maybe you want to make a combination of visiting a city for a few days and then getting out to the countryside. And I do recommend Le Marche. It really is unspoilt, undiscovered. If you like hiking, if you like cycling, if you like just exploring the historic side of Italy, it has everything to offer you. And as you can see, it has the most amazing food too. And I think, if you're on Instagram, please connect with me on my Instagram, which is Italian Days and Nights. And I can recommend places for you to visit and stay. And you can have a look at my adventures of living here in this beautiful country.
Thank you, Jane. It looks stunning. I had to look up where I was in Italy. It was driving me crazy. It's Taormina.
Ah, okay. Yeah, no, I have heard of it, but I don't know whereabouts it is located. I mean, the thing is, in Italy, living in Italy is beautiful because you can travel so easily into all the different regions. couple of years ago, I spent some lovely weeks on the island of Sicily. Drove all the way down south and then got a ferry, very short ferry across. And that is a wondrous place with so much history. And again, different territories, beautiful beaches, and Puglia in the south, and the Amalfi Coast. And there's a place called Ravello, I don't know if you've heard of, which is on the Amalfi Coast, which in fact is where one of my uncle's family is from. So I had to go and visit that, fell in love with it, and discovered that every year Ravello has a wonderful international music festival. In fact, you find that all over Italy, there are amazing music festivals, whether it's classical music or opera, and they take place outside, in theatres, in churches. I went just a couple of weeks ago to an operatic extravaganza in a little church just close to me, full of beautiful ancient murals.
Wow.
So, if you're into music, I mean, I went to a jazz festival in Perugia in Umbria, which takes place in August. I went to that a couple of years ago, and has international talent there. So there's something for everybody, and not only music festivals, but lots of amazing, as you can imagine, food festivals. And in fact, in my area, in November, we have the White Truffle Festival. And white truffle is just divine, and the cost or more of gold per ounce. Black truffles you can get all year round, and they are pretty well priced, but white truffle is almost like gold dust. And in fact, today it's been raining, and they'll be really pleased about that, because to get white truffles, they do need some rain.
Interesting.
That is interesting. I am definitely sold. I'm hungry. I would want some wine, some music, and a little siesta. It sounds like a fabulous day.
I think the Italians have got it sorted out, because they work, rest, and play. I mean, they have lots of fun, but eating is a very important part of the day.
I love that. And I'm still stuck on white truffles because I love mushrooms. Like, you could eat a truffle and it's a full meal. People don't understand. You're not talking about teeny tiny little mushrooms that you chop up and put in your salad.
Oh, I mean,
Truffles
truffle
are
with
big.
scrambled egg, truffle on pizza. Oh, and talking about pizza girls as well. A lot of things you discover once you're living in a country is pizza. Like when we're in Dubai, we can get pizza all day, but pizza is normally only served, particularly in the rural areas, in the evening. If you go to a pizza restaurant in the daytime, you can get pasta, but if you say you'd like pizza, then it's no, we only do that in the evening, and it's as if you should know that. And also, I'm very big into olive oil, and so it's great to live in Italy because it's very well priced. But I like to have my olive oil with lunch, with bread, and that again is not actually a tradition here. So if you're like me and you like to do that, you have to specifically ask for the olio, as it's called here, to be brought to the table to enjoy with your bread, because that's actually not a tradition of the Italians here.
And the pizza is different too. It's more like a pie.
Well, actually, it depends what region that you're in. Where I'm here, it's thin and crispy, which I absolutely adore. And when I went to Naples, almost a couple of years back now, I was so excited, of course, to have pizza in Naples. But for me, it was too thick and too doughy. So I was really happy to come back to my thin and crispy. So again, it depends on the region that you're in,
Oh, interesting.
I think it's so funny that this morning I was thinking I really need to lose weight, and now I'm thinking, bread, olive oil, pizza, ravioli. It sounds pretty darn good.
Yeah, but Dr. Jacalyn, it's really quite interesting, actually. People do eat regularly here, but they don't eat huge portions. And so, in actual fact, a lot of people are very, very slim here, which, surprises a lot of people. But of course, the Mediterranean diet also consists of a lot of tomatoes and aubergines, the olive oil. And so it's a very healthy diet. And also, I love gardening, and I lived in an apartment for many years in Dubai. So I didn't have the opportunity. But since I came to Italy, I'm doing a lot of container gardening, and I'm able to grow lovely things like lemons and kumquats and grapefruits and strawberries and pomegranates and chilies and and
Jane, stop, please. You're killing me over here, please.
I know. Just like,
I'm gonna go put us on a break and run downstairs and get something.
I love getting a container garden because I think that's very inspiring for our listeners to realize that containers really do work.
Oh, definitely. And it's so much easier. And I mean, growing your own tomatoes, which I used to do in Dubai, funny enough, when I did have a small garden, there's nothing quite like chopped tomatoes, olive oil, some pepper, some salt, some basil leaves, and just some toast. I mean, that's what I have, which is like peasant food, which is just so good for you and so enjoyable because of all of the flavors,
Right.
Add some mozzarella cheese in there or some kind of hard cheese. I don't know. That would be great.
There are amazing cheeses here. And also what I have discovered that they do traditionally here, which I love, and you'll have to try it if you haven't already, is with cheese, they pair it with honey and jam.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it tastes amazing. Whereas I'm used to, in England, we're used to pairing cheese with chutneys and pickles, which is also great. But they do it here with jam and honey. And the restaurant where you showed the pictures of the food and the view, she makes the most amazing rose jam. Rose
What's
jam.
the name of that restaurant?
We've got another comment from the beautiful Anthony. Hi, thanks for watching. Hearing you, I just need to go open the fridge and chop tomatoes with olives and cheese to enjoy your talk. Yummy.
Yeah, I tell you, when you see the photographs and you hear about the food, but I have to say again, eating food in Italy is just amazing. And you can just, as I say, drive to a little village, a little hill town, which, there isn't sort of much around, and you suddenly come across an amazing taverna, trattoria, that serves the most amazing food. And it's, owned by a family, maybe third generation, that have been cooking the same recipes, and it's been handed down. And they make you so welcome every time you go. And they don't always speak English. And I speak very little Italian, but you just manage somehow to get across your thanks and your joy. And in fact, it's interesting because when you're talking here, the word please is not expected very much. They're very big into thank you or thank you very much. But I started saying please, but people said, oh, you don't need to, which I found, coming from England, where we're all very polite, something different. But the most important thing is, grazie mille, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Jane, do you speak Italian? I know you just said grazie, but have you learned to speak the language?
I haven't learnt it yet, and that's something that I would very much like to do. And in fact, the plan was to start doing it in 2020 and having an Italian teacher. But with lockdown, that hasn't happened, because really, I do feel that you need to practice. And I think it's nice to do it in person. So that's on my list for next year. But I sort of know the basics and managed to get by somehow. And I also have great English friends here that I lean on who do speak Italian fluently. They've been here about 15, 16 years. And also I have great Italian friends that help me out because they also speak English. So I have to say I'm not really a great linguist, but I'm going to have a go.
Good for you.
Jane, are you willing to lead a tour for a group of us when we come over there?
I would absolutely love that. I'm just so looking forward to seeing people as, as things open up again. There are quite a few tourists back in Italy now, because I've got friends around who have what they call agriturismos, which are places to stay in the countryside. They've had mainly Italian guests, and in fact, one couple that I know have now got Spanish guests, and they're very happy to have them, of course. And there's a lovely lady, English lady, and her husband who have a B&B nearby, and she also does amazing cooking classes as well, where you can learn to make Italian food. So I can put you in touch with Kelda.
Sounds amazing. Sounds like a trip of a lifetime.
Well,
Absolutely.
there's so much joy to be had in, like you say, Diann, in every country. But if Italy's on your list, you will not be disappointed. And it's very easy to hire a car here. And there's a lot of, choice of accommodation of all different price brackets. But I mean, there are just incredible places to visit. When I went to the Amalfi Coast, I stayed in Sorrento and then caught a ferry across to beautiful Capri. And if you ever go to the Amalfi Coast, whoever's listening, please take that little boat to Capri and explore. It is a magical, magical place.
Fabulous.
Tremendous. So we have another comment from Anthony. It would be like the movie Eat, Love, and Pray.
Absolutely, Anthony. Watch that movie. I just absolutely love it. I remember reading the book when it came out, and she talks about going to Italy, and I thought, oh, I would love to go to Italy. I had never been, and saw the movie as well, and again had that dream. And sometimes your dreams, they can come true. And then if anybody wants to travel to Italy today, do watch that beautiful film Under the Tuscan Sun, or Letters to Juliet. Have you ladies watched Letters to Juliet?
No, I've not.
Right, well, that's one to put on your list. It's got the wonderful actress Vanessa Redgrave in it.
Oh,
and the scenery is amazing. It's a love story, and it won't disappoint. And in fact, Francesca, who wrote Under the Tuscan Sun, I know she's here in Tuscany, in Cortona at the moment. She comes over to Bramsol, her beautiful house, because Under the Tuscan Sun was obviously based on her true life story. So I haven't read the book, but I keep watching the movie. I never tire of watching it. And now here I am, and I can sort of relate to her experiences. So if anybody's interested in maybe moving to Italy as well, do reach out to me, and I can answer some of your questions, or connect you with people here that sell property and know all about the ins and outs of visas and things. I was very fortunate to move here in February 2019, as I said, and that was before Brexit happened. And so I was able to get my residency and my driver's license and my medical card before all of that came into place. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, you're very fortunate.
I'm
Jane,
very privileged, yeah.
Yeah, Jane, could you tell our viewers? I think Italy, I guess it really depends if you're too far south, maybe you can't do it. But Italy's a great place to also catch a train and go to other places as well.
Yeah, it has an amazing train line, absolutely. I mean, if you fly into Milan, then you can take the train all the way south and the other way. It has a great network. When I go to Rome Airport, I drive to a little place just outside of Perugia in Umbria, which takes me about an hour. And then I get on a fast train, which takes about an hour and 20 minutes straight into Rome Airport. So, and in fact, if you go to Foligno from Rome Airport, it's very close by to the beautiful town of Assisi, which, as you know, is very historic. And, you can hire a car from the station, from the airports. So it's easy to get around. But I think hiring a car is very, very important if you're out of the cities and you want to explore, go to the coast and go into the mountains. And of course, in my area, in the winter time, we do get snow. Diann knows that because she's seen my photographs. And I love that, just then sitting by a fire and eating different food. And luckily, the snow doesn't hang around too much in the towns. Up on the mountains, it's up there till about April or May on the tops. And some people do go skiing. It's not a big ski area, but it is possible.
Interesting.
That's it. We're moving. I go tell my mother we're moving. We're getting out of here. It sounds like it has everything.
Well, it does have everything. And I just think that, if you're planning a trip, I actually think that 2022 everywhere is going to be very booked up. Because I'm looking, it's my 60th birthday next year. And I quite like the idea of my family joining me maybe on the island of Sardinia. I haven't been to Sardinia yet, and I would love to do that. But I was looking at a few places and they're already booked up.
Interesting.
So I think, because people perhaps haven't been away for a year or two, they're really dreaming of getting that leisure time. So I highly recommend that you look into flights and you look into particularly accommodation, particularly these days where you can book accommodation, and then if you change your mind or you can't go, often it is possible without cost, to cancel it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. I think if you get the travel insurance. Right. We do have some comments. Let's take a look. On YouTube, watching The Scent Academy by Melanie Jane. Jane, you manifested living in Italy. How magical you are.
Yeah, it's amazing how these things can happen, because in Dubai I kept coming across people who had connections with Italy in 2018, and they were like, we've got a house in Italy, we're going to sell it, I've got a house in Italy, oh, I'm from Italy, or I'm going to Italy, and have you ever been to Italy, and I've got a house in Italy, come visit. And I just thought, what a beautiful place it would be to retire in, because I knew when I left Dubai, and having lived there in the sun for so many years, and then Singapore for 8 years before that, I did want to be somewhere where the sunshine. And also, of course, Italy is pretty close to the UK, where I've got family, and a little bit closer than the UK to Dubai, where I have family as well.
That's great.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. We have one more comment from Anthony. Milan connects with trains internationally to Austria and the rest of northern countries. Very nice views. You have time to take the railway.
Yeah, it really does, because of course when you're up north in Milan, or Milano as they call it here, you're very close to Switzerland, and you're very close to the lakes there as well. I have been to Milan for a few days, and it was actually quite a joy and a contrast to where I live, because Milan is all on the flat, so could actually wear heels, whereas where I live is very hilly, so you're into flat shoes, which Diann knows is not something that I used to wear a lot in Dubai. But here also there's lots of cobbles, so flat shoes are the things. Also, there's a beautiful place, have you heard of, in Tuscany, called Lucca?
No.
Oh, no. Well, Lucca has an amazing international music festival in the summer every year, and I was fortunate enough to go a couple of years ago to see Sting, and this year they had Celine Dion, and last year I was booked in to see Paul McCartney, but of course, that didn't happen. But Lucca also is a beautiful place to go to if you want to be on the level. It's very close to Pisa, which I visited and very much enjoyed. And Lucca also is where Puccini is from, and Puccini's house is there, which is a great visit.
Jane, you truly know your stuff about Italy, that is for sure. We have another comment. Jane, you're a citizen of the world.
Oh, well, I don't know about the world. I have been very fortunate to do a lot of travel, and of course I would have liked, like all of us, to have traveled further, these days, I'm very fortunate to have family in Dubai and family in the UK, because that's mainly where I visit. But like Diann, being an expat, I've got friends all over the world. In America, like to come out to see you guys one day. I've got a few friends in America, and I got a friend in Spain that I was lucky to visit a couple of years ago. But I mean, Italy is also very well connected if you are driving, let's say from places like France. I've driven to France from Italy, Switzerland, Austria, even Croatia is not too far away. So I would like to go and visit Croatia too.
Croatia is beautiful.
Yeah. So there's plenty to do. And if you like seasons, I mean, obviously going to New England has always been a dream of mine, to see the autumn, the fall that you call it, when the leaves have turned. But I have to tell you that in the 2 years that I've been here in the autumn, it's been spectacular.
That's why I want to tell everyone to make sure to join your Instagram, because you share so many gorgeous pictures of all the places that you're talking about, including the seasons and the food. So everyone,
Yes.
make sure you join.
Yeah, it would be great. People can look back on that, and then, as I say, if anybody wants to recommend anything, and also if you just want to travel to Italy from your sofa, there are some great books that you can read by an author called Sue Moorcroft, and she's written a couple of books on Italy. And I find, even I'm reading them, being in Italy, she's talking about the weather and the food, and she's got it spot on. So if you can't come to Italy yet, but you want to travel, watch the movies and read the books, and go and explore where you would like to visit, and book a place and just come.
Oh, man.
Jane, what about people who are looking for romance?
Oh.
Wow, maybe it's out there. A holiday romance, Dr. Jacalyn, maybe. I'm sure there is romance all over Italy. Yes.
Well, they do have handsome men, I will say.
Particularly in Sicily, I would say.
Yes. Oh, we have more comments. Sorry. Anthony is engaging with us today. Thank you so much. I am an ex-air hostess. You are, my dear. She's saying you are a citizen of the world, travel citizen of the world. And also, Italians are the biggest flirts.
Yes, she's absolutely right with that. And I would even say, at the grand old age I am, and even I get surprised when I am driving somewhere and somebody might be rubbernecking. You know what rubbernecking is?
Yes.
Even somebody is taking a double take at me, and I smile, I tell my sister, and we laugh, and it's a little flattering in lots of ways. So it really doesn't seem to matter what age the men in Italy are, or what age women are. The flirting is still going on. Yes.
I love that.
I do too. I've always liked Italian men.
Okay. Well, I think there's a lot of Italian men in America, isn't there?
Yes, there are. Yes, definitely. Well, it just sounds like such a wonderful place. I mean, I've been to Milan, which is also fashion capital, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And one thing I was surprised about was that there's a lot of manufacturing. At least this is going way back. I don't know if it's still the case, but there was a lot of manufacturing there.
Yeah, Dr. Jacalyn, you're right. It's quite industrial, Milan, actually. I had a few days in Milan and then a few days in Bologna, obviously where the spaghetti bolognese comes from. And Bologna is a beautiful city. And I personally saw more stylish people walking the streets of Bologna, which is a big university town, actually, than I did in Milan. But I enjoyed visiting both of them. And, your program is about fashion, it's about travel, it's about leisure. And, all of that is here in Italy. And around me, there are lots of outlet malls, where the designer, you can go and get designer handbags and shoes and things like that. I haven't gone myself yet. My daughters, when they visit, they want to go. And I believe there are some great bargains to be had.
There you go.
Add that to the list too, shoes and bags, Diann.
There you go.
There you go. Well, the Italians make them beautifully. In fact, I discovered an amazing family who make handbags and belts and wallets and things like that. Again, it's like, I think, second or third generation, which are unique, and it's a local business, and so very well priced. And I think that Diann, you were saying that I used to organize events in Dubai. My plan a couple of years ago, before the COVID thing hit the world, was to create a ladies' lunch for international women here in my area, at the restaurant that you featured in the photographs, and bring women with a translator to tell us her story about how it started off, and I'm sure that she would sell a lot of bags at that lunch.
Oh, that would be so much fun. I do hope you will be able to do it when we get past in the world.
Yeah, well, my plan is to start probably next January, Diann. I'm working on that now, and I had a lot of women from all over the world that are expats here that were very interested, and it would be really nice to feature local artisans. Like there's a beautiful potter in one of the villages nearby as well, and he's written a book about his family and the many years of them, doing this beautiful pottery work. So it's all very fascinating.
One thing I wanted to share when we were talking about fashion, it just popped in my head. Yesterday, I wore a Gucci suit that I bought in 1991, and it's so well made. And I just think there's something, I'm all about sustainability and whatnot, but the point is that the Italians make things very well, as do others. But I just was thinking that when I had that suit on, I thought, oh my gosh, it's held up all these years through all the cleanings and everything else. And I know that when I was there in Milan, I loved to go shopping and got a couple little things when I was there that are still holding up.
Well, yes, that's right. I mean, it is, as you say, beautifully made, and it's quality. But I have to congratulate you on also fitting into something that you bought.
I was thinking.
I think that's tremendous. I think you should take a picture of the outfit or yourself in the outfit and send it to Gucci. I think that they would be very happy to see that you're still enjoying it.
Well, maybe I will. That's a great idea.
Absolutely a great idea.
Getting back to food again, I have to say that eating gelato in Italy, of course, is a wonderful experience. And again, it just tastes amazing. And you find, the ice cream parlors, again, which are family run and, have just been second or third generation. You find that a lot of people in the rural areas, they don't travel that much themselves. They don't get a lot of holiday. And so they do pass the businesses down through the family.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that is wonderful. Sorry, we've got some more comments from Anthony. I'm so proud of you, Jacalyn Kerbeck. Yes, part of circular fashion is to appreciate older clothes. Very true. 1 month more and the Gucci movie will be out. Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Thanks, Anthony. Anthony, whereabouts in America are you viewing from?
No.
She's not in the U.S. In fact, we had her on. Anthony, when did we have you on?
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Was it just? Yeah, I don't remember.
And whereabouts is Anthony?
I think she's in Greece. Is she in Greece or the UK? Anthony, where are you? She's a Greek. She's a Greek in the UK. There it is. Greece.
Lovely. Well, I love Greece too, Anthony. But come and see me in Italy. We'll have a great time.
Yeah. She's she's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
Inside, well, then there'll be a lot of flirting.
Oh yes, there will be. Before we go, one of the things I want to share is that you talked about at the very beginning that I actually really miss here is seasonal food. And you can really tell when the food was grown right in that season. It's so much richer, the flavor. And anyway, I really appreciate that Italy is still having that romance with food.
Diana, it really does. It's really apparent. I mean, right now in the supermarkets, I'm grabbing the apricots and the peaches and the plums, and now the apples are coming, and also chicory, things like this, and the fennel. But yeah, once the season is gone, it's gone. And of course, in actual fact, health-wise, it's much better, the nutrients from the food when they are grown rather than stored or flown halfway around the world. So I'm really embracing that. And when you go to the restaurants, it really is only what's in season, and often there isn't a menu. Like the food that you showed today, where I went for that Sunday lunch, you don't have a menu. They may come and ask you, do you want pasta? Do you want lamb? Do you want, pork? Or do you want salad? But then they're not going to come with a menu. It's, they serve what's seasonal, and that's what comes.
I like that. So you get the freshest of everything.
Exactly. And I tell you what, girls, what comes is like 6 or 7 courses over a period of those 3 or 4 hours. And somehow you manage to get through it.
The one thing we didn't talk about on this show, because it's fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure, is you have to have a lot of fitness. You got to work out a lot, I think. I know you said people eat small portions, but now you're saying 6 or 7.
Yeah, well, I mean, I try and go for a walk almost every day. And in fact, this afternoon, one of my neighbors, she must be in her 80s, the grandmas, they go out walking every day.
See, here's the thing. So I typically will walk 6 or more miles, and I still cannot get myself to where I want to be. So I don't know. I think if I started eating all of that, I'm afraid of what would happen to me.
I'm going to say, living in Dubai and being around, it was my first time to be around with people who ate small portions. And when these small portions came, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like 2 bites. What's going on here, right?
Where's the food? We're used to like huge portions of food, right? You go to a restaurant, it's like, what? Who's going to eat all this? This is for lunch tomorrow and dinner tomorrow.
Exactly. And the other thing that was really funny is candy bars, right? So when we were backstage a lot, there's a lot of candy because you want to keep your energy up before you go on stage. And I'd see a little tiny Hershey bar, just those little ones, you get, and I would just like pop them in, and then I realized, I looked around and I was like, oh, that's not how they eat it. And they even when they unwrap it, my friends, they unwrap it with such love and care, and I'm like going, what? And then they just take a tiny nibble, and then they just and like they enjoy it. It's just so beautiful, and I'm like, okay, they got like 10 bites out of my 1 bite.
Yeah. I think
that's why they stay so skinny, is they know how to eat properly.
Yeah, that's why I eat slowly. I think that a lot of fruit and vegetables are eaten here.
Yeah.
And there is a specific amount of pasta that is cooked in the household. I think it's 100 grams per person or 75 grams per person. So they actually, they know how to measure it out. But so I don't think they overeat. And as I say, I live in quite an agricultural area, so there's a lot of people working on the land, and I don't think they're also big into sweet tooth either. On a Sunday you'll have tiramisu or a limoncello. Have we spoken about limoncello yet?
No.
Which is, the liqueurs come out definitely at the end of a Sunday lunch, and limoncello, coming from the Amalfi Coast, is popular everywhere. But there are many other liqueurs made from cherries, that go down very well at the end of a meal. So, and of course, wine is drank every day,
A
but not
staple.
but not in excess and alongside food.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes a difference.
It really does. Because you don't chug the wine, you just gloriously enjoy it, and you're not there to drink a bottle by yourself, right?
Yeah. It's just complimenting. And I must bring in that if anybody is coming to Italy, whatever town or city you go to, make your way to the piazza. Find yourself a lovely cafe and just watch the world go by. There's always a piazza, even in a tiny little village, and it's always so fascinating.
I agree 100%. That is a wonderful way to share as we move to the closing time. But Dr. Jacalyn, did you enjoy going to the piazzas? I know I did.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a wonderful way of life. But I also wanted to talk just briefly about the freshness of food here in New Jersey, which doesn't sound very romantic. New Jersey, this is the Garden State, and we have so many farms, so much farmland in this state. I wasn't even aware of it until I moved and started driving around. But it was just tomato season, and now the season's over, and so we have some. I think they're called farmers markets, roadside markets, and they don't have anything to sell now. The blueberries, the raspberries, the tomatoes, and this town is a beach town, so everyone's really packed up and left. So we don't have all those fresh fruits like you were talking about, and you have to really appreciate it, because now when you go to the market, they're shipped in from somewhere else, and they're not nearly as good.
Yeah, I think it's changing. Like you say, farmers markets are great things. I think it is changing a lot around the world. I know in England it's changing a lot, but I think people have just got very used to buying strawberries and raspberries in December, rather than buying the apples and the pears, which are much better nutritionally. New Jersey, I've always wanted to go to New Jersey.
You have?
Hey.
I don't know. Italy, New Jersey. I don't think it's a tough call.
Well, everywhere has something special. I have been to Texas. That's the only place I have been in the US. I've been to Dallas and Fort Worth in 1981.
There's a lot more to Texas. But at least you can say it.
But right now, I am very happy to be living in Italy. It really is a very enchanting place. If you come to visit, you will be enchanted.
I think a bed and breakfast, Dr. Jacalyn, for at least a week there, don't you think?
Oh,
so?
at least.
And we'll be so relaxed. We won't want to go back. We won't want to come back here. We do have this of a comment, which I think is very interesting, from Anthony. I was told tiramisu was created by an Italian house madam to keep her male clients virile.
Sorry, can you say that again, Dr. Jacalyn? I didn't get that.
I was told tiramisu was created by an Italian house madam to keep her male clients virile.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look out for those that are having more than one portion.
Comeback.
Excellent comeback.
That's so funny.
That's a good one, Anthony. Thank you. Oh my goodness, we've learned so much wonderful information. And by the way, I want to let our viewers and listeners know that Jane provided so many wonderful photographs, but I wasn't able to get them all uploaded. So you must go to her Instagram, which is Italian Days. It's Italian Days and Night?
It is. All one word, Italian Days and Nights. Okay,
perfect. So Jane, I'm just going to change the banner for a moment, and I'm just going to spotlight you. If you want to share any more about how people can contact you and who should reach out to you, that would be terrific.
Yeah, well, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to chat to you if you want to privately message me, or just, start following me on Italian Days and Nights, and just enjoy the photographs and maybe get some ideas of taking a holiday here, and it'd be lovely to meet you if you come to Le Marche region.
Wonderful. Okay, I updated your banner, Italian Days and Night on Instagram.
Italian Days and Nights.
And nights. Okay, you got to have more than one night, obviously, right?
Right. And also, the listeners know that Jane can recommend some good B&Bs for you to stay at in the area, right?
Yeah, there's some beautiful places again where they're just oasis of calm, sanctuaries away from the madness of everyday living, with the most beautiful views of forests, fields, and mountains.
Wow. Well, amazing.
Magnificent.
Thank you so much for sharing everything.
Yes, thank you, Jane.
I hope you've enjoyed the experience of my enthusiasm and passion for life here in Italy.
All of our senses are on high alert. That is for sure.
Yeah, it certainly touches all the senses here.
Definitely does. So thank you again, Jane, for being here. It was really a pleasure to hear all about Italy and see all those beautiful photographs. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you having me on your show. I thank you so much for this opportunity to share this, and wish you both all the best. And congratulations again to you, Diann, on your book.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you again, Jane. We'll see you again. Come back and see us anytime.
Connected, ladies. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Ciao, Bella.
Thank you. Ciao. Bye.
Ciao.
Oh my gosh, Diann, I am just so in love with Italy. Seriously, it sounds like an amazing place to live.
It does. I was sitting here thinking, if I had to be stuck during COVID somewhere overseas, I think I want to be stuck right there in that mountain town with that view every day, because it would still be inspiring, even though everything that was going on around. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. When you look at an environment like that and you have food that tastes like that, and people who, I would think that if you live there, you're going to have a completely different disposition and perspective about life and the simple things that you can see around you, how beautiful your world is, as opposed to rushing, racing around all the time.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things I enjoyed, Jane, sharing with us, is how it seems like the Italians have a nice balance of enjoying life. The French are kind of like that too, enjoying life, knowing you need to work, but your whole world doesn't exist around work.
So true. One of my favorite trips was I went to Paris, then I went to Monte Carlo, and then we went over to the south, the south coast of Italy, southern coast of Italy, and just an amazing trip. That was a long time ago.
There are so many places and people as well, right?
So true. And Anthony wants us to come over and go on, go to Italy and Greece, travel and have fun.
I love Greece too. As a matter of fact, I have a friend that signed up to be on your show. I think it's in October. That's from Greece, and we'll be talking all about Greece for us.
Oh, wonderful. We have one of our show hosts here, co-host Deborah Wooten. She's in Greece. She's from the UK, and she's in Greece. And so she's doing a big event there in September next year. So I want to try to go there too. There's a lot of places I want to go.
I know. And wasn't it interesting how Jane talked in all the music festivals? I had no idea. So it's like, wow, get to see Paul McCartney. How cool would that have been, right? Such a legend. And then Celine Dion. Like, I was very, very impressed with all the musical shows. And of course, operas. I mean, of course, they're going to have live operas in Italy. Well,
of course.
So much beautiful music comes from there. That's, tests the times. Or what do they say? It just goes on forever because it's classical and gorgeous. So anyway.
Very true. And we've got another comment from the Scent Academy by Melanie Jane. Come to France. France is absolutely beautiful. And I think I mentioned before, I do have a show after this. I have to just be careful. I mentioned before that I took French for 6 years. And right before I went over to France, I think I've gone 4 times, maybe 5 times. I would take French at Berlitz, I think it was in language school so I could go over there. And then, of course, when I got there, I realized how horrible my French was. But I think as long as you try to speak the language, the Parisians really appreciate it. So I definitely am going back to France. That's for sure.
Well, Melanie Jane, she'll appreciate that. And FYI, Dr. Jacalyn, Melanie Jane is a good friend, and she runs the Best in Academy, and she's actually going to be on our show as well.
Oh, yay. Nice to meet you.
She is amazing. So we'll look forward to that too. And but we can't thank Jane enough for being on the show today and sharing new things about Italy. I learned so much, and now I'm so hungry.
I'm starving, Diann. I'm starving. I'm thinking, why did I have that granola bar with all those preservatives in it when I should have been eating something nice and fresh? And okay.
Yeah, the apples are coming into season up there, so right?
Yeah, so little secret about me. I love apples, but I don't eat them anymore because this sounds crazy, but I always worry about losing a tooth or something, like biting into something. I don't eat corn for the same reason. I know you can cut them, but
you slice it, Dr. Jacalyn.
Slice it.
I'm going to tell you, before we go, I'm going to tell you this incredible recipe for a party. You ready?
Let me spotlight you. Go ahead.
So, guys, especially if you're worried if the party is going to be boring because you're not quite sure how different people are going to mingle together, this is what you do. You go and you buy tons of gorgeous apples, your favorite, and then you slice it super thin and you put it in Tupperware, okay? A big thing of Tupperware because you're going to want to be able to flip it back and forth. And then you buy a giant bottle of amaretto, okay? And then you pour it all over the apples, and you just pour it in there and you let it set overnight, and then flip it whenever you think about it. Flip it so that it really soaks in. And that night when you at the party and you put it on a beautiful tray with some toothpicks and people eat the amaretto as people are starting to come, everyone's going to loosen up and they're going to have a great time.
I love that, Diann. Now, a question that comes to mind, they always say you should put, I think, whoever they are, you put lemon on apples so they don't turn. So the apples are not going to turn.
No, because the amaretto is soaking it all up, and oh my goodness gracious. Yeah,
well, you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So it sounds like a very healthy alternative to serve people. I will definitely have to try that one. It'll just be me and Mom, though.
Oh, that'll work. Well, you have a great day, and I love this show, and it's so much fun. I just have a blast on it.
I know. I love it, too. It is so much fun. And thank you, Jane. Diann, I'm going to spotlight you again. Look for your banner. I'm sorry. She's another guy. No alcohol will help to keep the apple. All right. Thank you, Anthony. Diann, I'm going to spotlight you and look for your banner. What is the best way for people to reach you? How can they buy your books? And what's going on for you next?
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, it is.
You can reach me at DiannFloydBoehm.com, which is on the ticker tape. But for those who are listening, it's DIANN Floyd, Floyd, Boehm, BOEHM.com, DiannFloydBoehm.com. And what's up next? Well, I am traveling to Oklahoma, where we're going to have the launch of my book, Rise, A Girl Struggle for More. We're going to be in the town of Drumright and Oilton. And history-wise, guys, these towns were very, very important to our country because it was the beginning of the giant oil discovery. So you don't hear much about these towns, but I love history because, every small town has something that has a ripple effect in our world. And so I'm very excited to be at their museum and launch my book.
Diann, that is very exciting. Did you know our last guest was from, my last guest on the last show was from Oklahoma? She's actually in Oklahoma, right? The one before this show. Oh, she's really? An author, and she's in Oklahoma. And I think the town is called Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow. Yeah, that's just up the road. No, I think
you guys have to get together. Well, while you're there. I'm going to introduce the two of you.
That'll be great. Yeah, I caught the tail end of that one. She did a great job. But yeah, Broken Arrow is just right outside of Tulsa. So, and Tulsa.
Tulsa.
But I want to share before we go, New Jersey, I sometimes don't think it gets its due because it is such a beautiful, beautiful state and lovely people. And the history in New Jersey, everyone says New York, which is New York is great, but New Jersey has incredible history as well. I just want to throw that in for you, Dr. Jacalyn, and I'm going to come try some of that fresh garden stuff going on right now.
Well, thank you. There are a lot of nice things about New Jersey, and I have lived in New Jersey. I added up since I got divorced in 1999. I've moved 13 times, which I don't know if that's a lot or not, but I don't mind moving. So I have lived in New Jersey 3 or 4 times, and I've enjoyed it. And I certainly like where I am now because it's the bay and the beach. It's really beautiful.
You can't beat that, and you can get to so many places from New Jersey as well.
It's true.
That is so true, right? And I guess you're moving into fall, like true fall colors.
So here it's still green. Everything's still green, although I see some of the wetlands are turning like a little brown, which is not pretty. But yes, it will be fall, I think September 22nd, next week.
Yeah, next week. So, I mean, you'll start getting October, November, the true color change, I think.
Which is beautiful. I do like the seasons, although I'm not a huge fan of the winter. But this last year, spending the winter here the first time, it was actually quite beautiful.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be up on the East Coast soon, so I'll have to let you know.
You let me know, because I'd love to get together with you.
Well, you have fun with the next show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. It was great seeing you, Diann. And are you coming back this afternoon? No.
Yes, I am on your Talking Heads. And
excellent.
I'm going to be doing something brand new. It's all going to be about ancestry and a cookbook.
Ooh. I'm loving hearing that. And before you go, I'm just going to play our trailer for Talking Heads, and then we'll close out the show.
Sounds great. Thanks.
There it is. And the exciting news is we have our brochure for USA Global TV and Talking Heads. So if you're interested in being a talking head, you can contact me at my website, drjacalyn.com. And I look forward to having Diann and Ricky McKenna this afternoon for our show for Talking Heads.
That sounds great. Well, I'll see you real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Jane. It was beautiful. Everything that you shared, those pictures. We're so hungry. We've got to figure out what we're going to do. All right, everyone. We'll see you later. Thank you again for being here.
Bye, everybody.